Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Heather, and this video is in fact going to be about more books. You might notice a little bit of a switch here. It's still the same bookcase. I'm just kind of at an angle, and the sun is going down, so hopefully the lighting stays okay because I know I'll be yapping for quite a bit. I miss everyone. I miss making these videos. I've just been really busy. I have been trying to read as much as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. This year, I am ready to dive right back into reading. I know I say that pretty often, but it's true. I want to keep reading as much as I can. Not necessarily as much as I can because I want to be reading good books. I want to be reading good books as much as I can. I think that's pretty clear here. Okay, so this video is going to be about every book that I read in the year 2024. Yay! Can't believe it's 2025. I feel like I just made a video of what books I wanted to read in the year for last year, and you'll see that I read some of them, maybe. I believe I hit 35 for last year. I typically use 3 apps to track my reading, which I know is kind of insane. I haven't found one that I'm obsessed with, and that's kind of why I just use all three. So that would be Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable. All of that to say that Storygraph has some pretty good statistics of my reading year. So that's what I'm going to share with you now. I'll probably insert like a little screen recording just to further that. Oh, by the way, do you like my microphone? That's what this little fuzzball is. And I think it's actually working. So I hope my audio is clearer. I don't know. This felt more official, is basically what is the reason that I purchased it. 2024, I read 35 books, like I said, which was just under 15,000 pages. Sounds like a good amount of pages, right? The moods of the books that I tend to read were emotional, funny, tense, adventurous, and dark. Okay, sounds like me. Most of them were in the 300 to 499 page range, 77% of them. 6% were under 300 pages, and 17% were over 500 pages. So I typically stay in the mid range book length book. Yeah. 14% of the books that I read were nonfiction, while 86% were fiction. My most read genre was romance, not surprised, followed by fantasy and then thriller. And the average star rating for me this year was actually 4.3, which I think is incredible. Like I said earlier, I found some really good books this year, or at least I read some books that were highly rated, in my opinion. That's literally what that means. Okay. Okay, so for the most part, I have all the books here with me. I think there might be two or three that I either don't have the physical copies of, or I never purchased them, or I lent them out. I don't know. I don't have them. So I'll just put a picture on the screen as usual for those ones. Starting off strong, the first book that I read in 2024 was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Love this one. It's pretty much every good thing about a romantasy put into a book. I think she got inspiration from some of the other romantasy novels that are already out there, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, we all have to take inspiration from somewhere, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing. I gave it 5 stars, and I was very excited to start the year off with such a lovely book. I feel like I'm not going to be able to describe every one of these books because 35 doesn't sound like as much as some other people might have read this year, but to yap about all of them, it will be here for a while. So I think rather than describe every book that I have here, I'm just going to give you like my overall very basic thoughts on what I'm doing. And I should probably stop explaining and just doing. Yeah, much of my life is like that. Okay. So, Powerless, it was a good one. I highly recommend. The next book I read in 2024 was The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. looks like this. This was one of my favorites of the beginning of the year. I really, really love this book. I also gave this one 5 stars. That's how much I loved it. Basically, it's like a magical realism romance kind of novel. And I heard that it got mixed reviews, but I personally loved it. Essentially, this woman, her aunt dies and leaves her an apartment, but the apartment is like a magical one where it like brings you back in time 7 years, and she meets this man, but he's like from the past, and then you just kind of follow like her journey going through some grief, but also meeting someone that she didn't expect she would meet. I don't know. I'm not really good at explanations, but I do know that I love this book. I do recommend, even though some people disagree. I don't think that they think it's like a who cares what they think, right? No, just maybe didn't live up to the hype for some people, but for me, I loved Clementine and what's his name? Ivan. I remember not knowing the name the last time. Whoops. But yeah, 7 Year Slip, recommend. Okay, we're doing well. The next book I read in 2024 was actually a memoir. It was Britney Spears's The Woman in Me. And I think I mentioned this in the past, but I don't typically rate memoirs. Or I give them like a mid rating, I guess, because it's someone's story. It feels kind of weird to rate it, but I'm more so rating like the writing of it, rather than like the content, because it's someone's life. I can't there's only so much I can like I'm not judging anyone. I think if you were a fan of Britney Spears at any point and you want to hear her story, this was a good one. I listened to the audiobook for that one, which wasn't bad. I liked it. Yeah. It feels like a lifetime ago. But the next book I read was Verity by Colleen Hoover. So much discourse has been had about Colleen Hoover, and I'm not gonna lie, some of her books I ate up. I really did. And this one I guess was one of the ones that I ate up. I gave it 4.25 stars. Don't really know what I have to say about this one, just that it was like a crazy book. I'm excited for the movie. There's a movie coming out with Anne Hathaway, I think. And love her. Basically, this woman has to finish her manuscript or something, but she is unable to do so. So then her family hires like a ghostwriter to help with that. She ends up moving into the woman's house with her husband and like the woman's husband and their kids. And then once she gets there, things just start going weird. There's some I guess it's like romance, but it's more of a thriller. There's like romance in there, I guess. I would recommend. Okay, next book I read was Wretched by Emily McIntyre. This is part of the Never After series. I gave this one 3.75 stars. I don't remember much about this book, but I know that I had a good time reading it, and that's why I gave it that rating. All of these are retellings or like reimaginings of fairy tales. Fairy tales, is that the word? Yeah, like this one is what's that person's name in The Little Mermaid? Oh my god, what's her name? Not Ariel. Ursula. Is this one Ursula? Okay, Nicholas and Evelina. Poor unfortunate souls. The cover is beautiful. Do I recommend this one? Yeah, why not? It was a good one. It's like a mafia romance, I guess. I honestly couldn't tell you. And this is so chaotic. The next book I read was kind of in like a similar genre, I guess. This one is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. And I loved this book. I really did. I gave it 4.25. And it's a Hades and Persephone retelling. Again, don't remember too much besides the fact that like she's Persephone and he's Hades, and he is the ruler of the underworld, and it's kind of their romance. Oh, now I remember. She's the goddess of spring. She doesn't have control of her powers yet, and she is very sheltered by her mother, and it's kind of like her story of like coming of age. I would recommend it. This is part of a 7 book series, and I haven't finished the series. And I will say, you'll see I read another one pretty shortly after this one. Okay, next book that I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I finally started reading some more Abby Jimenez books because I have like all of them or a majority of them and never read them. I finally did. I actually read 3 of her books this year, but again, I'll get to them. I'll get to them. Hold your horses, please. Um, Part of Your World. This is part of a 3 book interconnected standalone series. In case you're not familiar with Miss Jimenez, um, fabulous author, fabulous storyteller. I just love her writing style. They're just really easy to read. I actually listened to this one, but it was a very like easy to comprehend story. It's a romance, but it's more than a romance. Like it's very emotional, like it's very deep. This one is the story of Daniel and Naomi. Daniel and Alexis. Who's Naomi? Okay. It's like a small town romance. She is a surgeon and he is like a really cute carpenter for his family and like for his town. It was a cute one. And I highly recommend reading all of her books. What did I say? 4.75? Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why it wasn't a 5. It just didn't give me like that feeling, but 4.75, like it might as well have been a 5, right? I don't know. Okay, everybody. I just realized that I filmed about 15 minutes of footage, and this little guy, this little one right here, didn't work. It actually came with 2 in the little order that I made. And so one of them is charging. I'm gonna keep it facing this way because I think if this little green light is on, it means that it's working. Fingers crossed. Next book that I read, this was in February, was Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. And this is just like a really sweet love story. It's more of like a fiction, like it's not romance, I don't think. I think it would be more of like literary fiction with a romance subplot. Honestly, I don't remember everything. I did give it 5 stars, like I said. Did I say that? I don't know. But I gave it 5 stars. And it was about Reagan and Aldo. And it's just like them meeting, and just know that the writing was really lyrical. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not like a cheesy romance or anything by any means. Like I said, I would recommend it if the uh, synopsis looks intriguing to you. I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars. It's a STEM romance, so the girl, I think her name is what? No, the boy's name is Adam. Her name is Olive. So Olive is a PhD candidate, and Adam is a cute like young professor, and it's their story. And I just thought it was really nice. I love the way she portrays the female characters. I love how strong she makes her female characters, and I thought it was really cute. It's like takes place in a school, so like a workplace romance, school romance. I couldn't really tell you what happens in the story because, well, I don't want to spoil it anyway, but I really don't remember much. Oh yeah, there's fake dating. That's what it is. She wants to impress someone, I think, reassure someone that she's doing well. So she's like, "No, I have a boyfriend," and it's the professor, and she kisses him, and then she's like, "Oh crap, what did I just get myself into?" And then it's just like their little experiment. Get it? Science experiment. Yeah, okay. Okay, earlier I was talking about A Touch of Darkness, yes, and after that comes A Game of Fate by Scarlett St. Clair. This is in the same world, the Hades and Persephone saga, but I think this is more from his perspective. Honestly, it confuses me a little bit the order that you have to go in because there's some that are part of the Hades saga and then some that are part of the Hades and Persephone saga, but they're like interchanged and stuff. I don't know. I can put up the reading order on the screen or I can link it somewhere. Yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. I thought it was a good read. I like being in the world, which is essentially why I read it. Yeah, I would recommend. Okay, after that, I listened to an audiobook, very appropriately named Thank You for Listening. Did that make sense? Probably not. This book is called Thank You for Listening. It's by Julia Whalen, and Julia Whalen is a audiobook narrator in real life, and she wrote this book and then narrated this book. And I love when that happens. I love when the author is the narrator. It just adds something to the novel, I feel. But this was really cute. It was another romance, but it was like an unexpected kind of relationship with another audiobook narrator, and it's cool just to be in that like audiobook novel world. I really like this one. What did I give it? 4.25 stars. I would recommend if you love reading, if you love audiobook. I loved this one, and the cover is just adorable. Hmm. I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline, not right back to back, because if you know anything about these books, you know that they're dark. These are very dark romances. Just look at the cover. Like, H.D. Carlton is the author of these, and that girl, she's unhinged. These books, oh man. It's crazy because I gave the first one 4 stars and the second one 3.5 stars, but they live in my head rent free. Like, these books, they're up here all the time. Like, I think about Addie and oh my god, how did I forget his name? Zayden? Zayden? No, wait, is that Fourth Wing? Wait, what's his name again? Zaid. I was close, right? Zaid. How can I forget? So Addie and Zaid. Zaid is a stalker. Stalker, or yeah, stalker. And it's their story. I don't really know how to explain what this book is, but it's definitely a time. And I'm very happy I read it. If you are interested, I would definitely give it a go. It's something that is unlike other books that I've read, for sure. Definitely look up your trigger warnings because it is, like I said, very dark, especially the second book. Very difficult for me to read some of the things that were, written about. I do really enjoy these books. I kind of want to, like, I'm probably not going to read them again, but I would love to, like, just skim and see some edits on TikTok or something, because yeah, this shit was insane. Insane. But if you love it, like I love it, that's great for us, really. It's great for us. Okay, after that, or in between those two, I read The Idea of You by Robin Lee. This is what the book looks like. You probably have heard of the movie, or maybe you've seen the movie like on Netflix or whatever. All right, I'll reveal the reason why I read it. I know you're just dying to know. It is based off of Harry Styles. And I say that very loosely because, I mean, I don't know the man. I wish I did, but I don't think he's like this at all. It's a story that was written, I believe, as a fan fiction, essentially, like from a mom's perspective. If her daughter was a One Direction fan and she brought her to the show, and Harry, or what's his name in the book? I was going to say Harden, but if you know, you know. Hayes. Hayes. It's just so funny to like think about the fact that somebody took inspiration from the one, the only Mr. Styles and came up with this book. Quite a concept, if you ask me. Quite the concept. Let me just say that I loved the movie. It was like a guilty pleasure of mine, if I'm being completely honest, which, I am. I gave it 3 stars, 3.25, like that 2.5 or that 0.25 means anything. It was fast paced, but it's weird to me that this book exists in a way. But I also love the movie. So it's fiction, right? It's fiction. It's for fun. That's all I'm going to say. In case you want to know what it's about, well, I kind of mentioned already, but it's kind of like this age gap romance between the mom and the boy band star. And kind of where that goes. It was entertaining. It was. I'll say it. It was entertaining. Then I read The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is part of the Dreamland Billionaire series. I have absolutely no idea where I put my copy of this book. I might have lent it to my sister, but I don't know. I don't know really. Yeah, I give 4 stars. This book, it was really cute. It's essentially Disneyland. The grandfather owns Disneyland and then he leaves in his will. He leaves his inheritance, but his grandsons can only get the inheritance if they fill the terms of the contract of the inheritance. So for this one, I couldn't tell you who are the characters in this one to be honest, but it was a cute one, and the atmosphere is really cute. They're like in the parks and everything. I don't really remember much, but it was fun. It was a fun time. Then I read probably one of my favorite books of the year, if not my favorite. I was very late to the game when it came when it came to this book, but I read. Are you ready for another? Da, 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 da. Are you ready? Are you ready for the people to know? The next book or books that I read was Fourth Wing. Ah! Ew, I hated that. The next book that I read was Fourth Wing. This started my obsession. Like, I am obsessed with this series. I am obsessed with Satan and Violet. Violet? Violence. No, she go. Wait, am I? What am I doing? It is Violet, right? Violet. Oh, yes, yes. See, you just gotta trust your gut. This is the story of Violet and Xaden, but it's more than just their story. It is a romantasy, so a mix of romance and fantasy, and it is just addicting. Like, this book ignited something in me. I am so excited because the third book in this series, the Empyrean series, I think it's called, obsessed. The third one comes out at the end of this month, and I am so excited. I actually was so excited that I went and purchased this limited edition version. Look, it's got black sprayed edges. I went and purchased this off of, what's that thing called? Pango Books or something. It's like a bookseller, like used bookseller, but this one was like brand new, and I had to have the special edition because I'm speechless. Can't form words because I love this book so much. It's got dragons. Do I have to explain more? It's got dragons, and the dragons can talk, and they mate with the people, the dragon riders, and then they're gonna like. Uh, After that comes Iron Flame, and after this is gonna be Onyx Storm. I can't really tell you much about this one because that would reveal things that happen in the first one, but I loved it. And yeah, they're a little thick, but like worth every minute of it. I do know that some people were a little disappointed by Iron Flame. I gave them both 5 stars. And I love the world. I love like the imagery. I'm going to shut up about it now, but just know that I'm obsessed with those 2 books. After that, I read the next book in the Hades and Persephone saga, which is A Touch of Ruin, again by Scarlett St. Clair. I don't know where I have the footage of this, but one of my best friends and I went to the Ripped Bodice, which is a romance bookstore in Brooklyn, and we actually met Scarlett St. Clair. I don't know what I'm assuming that's like a pen name. I don't know. But either way, we met her. Such a sweet woman, and it was just cool. She's beautiful. It was such a nice time going to meet her and getting the most recent release, which was A Touch of Chaos. Again, haven't caught up yet, but slowly but surely. That one I gave 3 stars. Again, the world is fun, the romance is fun. I like the side characters as well. They're funny. It's a good time, a good palate cleanser, like I mentioned. I actually read another nonfiction book, and I listen to I think I listened to this one now that I'm thinking about it. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another book that I know sometimes gets mixed reviews, but I personally really enjoyed reading this book. It's essentially just like an inspirational read on how you could break bad habits. I gave this 5 stars. It was a very inspirational time. I think the one thing that I got out of it was to start small. you can change your habits if you start small and do things little by little. If you're into self-help and if you want to you know, get some inspiration, you could read Atomic Habits. 5 stars for me. I decided it was time for a thriller, which was, I think, the first one of the year, right? I used to read thrillers a lot. That was my main genre back in, I don't know, like 2017 maybe. I just kind of skipped out on them for a while. I guess they were making me nervous, and I am a very anxious person. So the books weren't helping, but sometimes you need like a quick pace, thrilling time. And that was when I picked up The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Gave this one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's very disturbing, very disturbing. There are some parts like if you've read it, oh my god, my bookmark is still in here. I did finish it because I read it on my Kindle, but I was keeping track of my progress like in the physical copy, as one does. You should just go in blind. So it's Nina and Andrew. They live together, and then I don't know what this girl's name is. I don't remember. Millie. That's her name, Millie. I found it. She is the housemaid, but when she gets to the house, things just get really friggin' weird, really haunting. Like the stuff that happened in this, I had to put the book down for a second because I was just like, what the actual hell is going on? I do have the next one somewhere close by, I think. Oh yeah, The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid is Watching comes next. Haven't gotten to them quite yet, but I really like this one. So if you're looking for a thriller, The Housemaid, quick, easy, good choice. After that, I read this book called Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? And it's by a Dr. Julie Smith. I listened to the audiobook. I honestly don't even know how I came across this book. I think I was just looking for more self help, like inspirational reads. I listened to this one and I gave it 4 stars. It was a good read. I liked hearing her perspective, and it kind of reiterated some of the things that were said in Atomic Habits. So that was a good one. After that, one of my favorite reads of the year as well was the next book in After Part of Your World, which is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Another 5 star read by my girl, Miss Jimenez. This is the story of Brianna and what's his name? Jacob. Jacob's a doctor. Brianna's also a doctor. Oh, and then it's about her brother who needs a kidney. I don't want to give too much away of this one either. Her books are just like beautifully written. They have all the good aspects of like a good romance, but again, with emotion. If you're looking for a good romance or like my mom asked me for a good rom-com and I directed her to this one and the one after this because she read Part of Your World actually. But they're not even, there are funny moments, but it's not even like a rom-com. It's just like a beautifully well written romance story. And I think if that's what you're looking for, Abby Jimenez, great, great option. Another author that is highly well loved, is Emily Henry. And if you have been watching my channel for a while, which, thank you. Thank you so much. Emily Henry wrote Book Lovers, one of my favorite books ever. That book just had me cracking up. I genuinely love Book Lovers so much. I mean, I am a book lover, and so it's no surprise. I decided to pick up another one of her books because, love that book, got to read more. And so I picked up Beach Read. This is the special edition of it. Look at how beautiful it is. It's gorgeous. It's got the sprayed edges and this, yeah, beautiful. Beach Read, I gave 4.5 stars, which some people are like obsessed with Beach Read. That they say that this one is like their favorite one of hers, or at least it was before she came out with her more recent novels. It was like a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would have given it a higher rating if I read it like at another time. I don't know if I read it right after Yours Truly, so then I was like kind of comparing them. I loved it. Again, if you're looking for a romance or, an emotional romance, I would say Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry are your go-to gals. The next book I read was You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. This book I was reading for months. For months. Why, you ask? Because I wanted to DNF it. I wanted to not finish it. So many people love this book. I just didn't I didn't get it. It's funny because I remember so much about this one. It's like a relationship in peril kind of situation, and they are about to, I think they're engaged and they're going to get married. The person that breaks off the engagement has to then pay for the wedding. So they kind of go back and forth with one another of like trying to make the other person cancel the wedding. So they're like going like tit for tat for one another. So they're doing these like little jabs at one another, and they're just like not communicating properly. It just I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I did give it 3 stars, so it's not the worst book ever written. Some parts were funny. I don't know. If it sounds interesting, I would go for it, but okay, like I mentioned earlier, one of the first books or the first book I read of last year was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So then when Reckless came out, I added that to the list, which is surprising because I have so many books and haven't read a majority of them. But this one I picked up, read it right away. To give it 4.25 stars. Now, a lot of people were very disappointed with this book. People have said it's a filler book, that it was unnecessary, it was repetitive. Listen, that might all be true, but I loved it. I loved the story. I loved their tension. I loved the world that they're in. The ending was like, I will say it did get a little repetitive and a little predictable, but I still loved it. And I again am looking forward to, I forgot what the last one's called. Then another self-help book that I listened to, but I actually do have the physical copy, is The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control by Catherine Morgan Schaeffler. Schaeffler. Sorry, Catherine. This is what it looks like. I think the cover is kind of cool. These look like matches, and I don't know. I thought that was cool. I gave this one 4 stars. It has to do with being a perfectionist, and if you know me, I am one. So I thought this would give me some tips and make me feel known and comforted, and it did. It was good. I would say if I had to choose one of the self-help books, it would probably be Atomic Habits or Untamed. Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Ooh, I don't know what that was, but Chef's Kiss on that one. I started the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I read Flawless, which is the first one in the series. There's 5 books, and they're all cowboy romances, which I was like, am I going to like this? No idea. I loved it. I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was really sweet, really cute. He's a professional bull rider. He has kind of lost his way a little bit, so he needs someone to come and kind of like babysit him. This woman named Summer comes and tries to like help him out with his behavior, I guess, because he's off the rails. This is her job, I guess, but then they kind of end up getting together. Next, I can't believe it took me this long to read this book, but finally finished A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. 5 stars. Oh, wait, I skipped a book, but well, I'll go back to that one. 5 stars for this thick book. It's not even that thick, but it's pretty thick. It's like 700 pages. 600, just over 600 pages. 5 stars. I did not think I would love this as much as I did because I enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. Everyone says the first one's not the best one, and they're right. But this one, I think it's going to be my favorite in the series, to be honest, because I read this, in October, and I'm still reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm sorry, guys. One day I'll be finished. Sorry, Kayla, my sister, because her and I have been reading them together and I've been taking forever. If you have heard of A Court of Thorns and Roses, this is the second book in this series. If you haven't heard of it, it's a lot to explain in this short amount of time. But I will say it's a romance, it's a romantasy, and it's about Feyre. I don't want to tell you anything because anything after the first book is just kind of like a spoiler. It's a good one. If you liked the first one, or if you didn't like the first one, just keep reading and you'll like this one, I'm sure. The one that I skipped, I actually don't have in my possession because I don't really like it that much. But it was called I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. It has to do with borderline personality disorder, which my therapist said I might have. So I was like, let me learn more. casual mental illness love. I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't think it was like super informative. It was interesting, but I think I need more knowledge on the topic to really give it like a good rating to know whether it's like accurate. I think everyone's experience is different. I figured it was something I should take with a grain of salt. Let's just say that. Then I read another 5-star read. Actually, there's a few 5 stars coming up. Once we got to like the end of October, it was just like bang, 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 5-star reads. First one, You with a View, Jessica Joyce. Such a cute book. This is like a road trip romance. Basically, this girl, she's like in her dad's garage or something. She finds a letter from a man to, or pictures of a woman and a man. It's her grandmother with a man that's not her grandfather. And it's like with letters and stuff. So she puts the pictures and the letters on, I guess, TikTok or some similar platform, is like, oh, does anyone know who this man is? And someone comments and is like, that's my grandfather. And then it's like their story of meeting, and then she meets the grandfather, and then they go on this road trip. And it's just like, it was just a really sweet story. I cried a little bit, I think. It made me think of my family, and I love to travel, and I don't know, it just like it was a really good one. I'm excited to read The X Vows by her. I heard that one was really good as well. Then another 5-star read by Kaylee Smith, Phantasma. I did not realize how big this book is. I got it from Book of the Month, but I read it on Kindle Unlimited, I think, which is always fun that, we find some Kindle Unlimited reads. How do I describe this book? Basically, it's like this carnival type thing that comes through town. It's like a game, and if you make it to the end of the game, you are granted a wish. And this girl goes in because she wants something like with her sister, and her name's Ophelia, and she ends up going through these games, kind of like a dark romance. There is some spice in it, and it is like on the darker side of things. I would say look up your trigger warnings. It says the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. There you go. Phantasma. And the cover, perfect for spooky season, or January, where we are now. After that, I decided to continue Lauren Asher's series of the Dreamland Billionaires, and I read Terms and Conditions. That this is the one that comes after um, the fine print. The fine print? Yeah, the fine print. I love this one. I thought this was really cute. Gave it 4.5 stars. This one I remember a little bit more than the first one. This is about Declan and Iris, and she is his secretary, and he is supposed to be the next CEO of his company. It's their story. He's another one of the grandsons who needs to fulfill his clause for the inheritance. Yeah, it's cute. Again, setting perfect, vibes just top notch. Next, I listened to this one. This is also one of my favorites of the year. This is Lights Out by Navisa Allen. And I listened to this audiobook, like I said. Okay, this one is funny because it is like a stalker romance also, but like a complete 180 from Haunting and Hunting Adeline. This one is like a funny, like almost rom-com version of it. Like, I don't want to tell you too much. He is a stalker, but in the best way. Like, he really cares about her. I'm sorry. This is just, yeah. She is into things that he can do for her. You know what? I'm just gonna stop myself there. If you think this is something that you would like, I highly recommend. The audiobook just adds a whole nother level to it. Next, I read Just for the Summer. And every time I say that title, I want to sing the Demi Lovato song. Abby Jimenez, the final book in the Little Part of Your World series thing. My mom just read this book too. Like, I read it, I cried. I said, "Mom, you gotta read this." And she did, and she was really impressed. She read Part of Your World and not Yours Truly, and then this one, but I think she's gonna go back and read Yours Truly. Anyway, Justin and Emma, they have such a cute story. It's so wholesome. The relationships and the way people respond to things, it was just very realistic, and I love that. Again, Abby Jimenez, can't go wrong with her. And then the final book that I read in 2024 is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. I think that's how you say her name. Another really good book. I gave this one 4.5 stars, I think. This is about a witch and a witch hunter. And if you know me, you know I love witchy things. This did not disappoint. It's a YA romantasy, And, sometimes I'm like, do I like YA? Do I not? But I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really engaging and the atmosphere was great. It's also called The Crimson Moth. So if you see that title somewhere, I think the series is called The Crimson Moth, but the book one is Heartless Hunter. I am sorry, this video was just pure chaos. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that this was helpful in any way or just entertaining, really. I am hoping to film more videos. My goal this year was to film at least 12, which I know is like nothing. It's like one a month. But, I'm a busy gal and I can't read that fast. I try, but I can't, I'm not whatever. Thank you so, so much for watching. I hope this year is an incredible one for us all. I hope that you have tons of love and health and happiness and lots of books to look forward to. Thank you so, so much for watching. If you've been here for a while or if this is your first video of mine, I really appreciate you. I do this because I love books and I love reading and I love talking about books and collecting books. And it just makes me happy that there are other people that feel the same way and that want to see what I'm up to. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. I will see you in the next video. Bye.